All right. Welcome to today's wellness webinar. I'm thrilled to have you here. Um, for those of you who are watching it back, I can't wait to hear your takeaways. But I did want a little bit of engagement for this first portion, but that's okay. This is the first group coaching call in a while. We will be doing this group coaching call every Tuesday at 10 a.m., but they will also be recorded. So just come on whenever you are able. If you're able to listen in, it's great. If not, you can watch the replay. But before we get started, just so you know, as a reminder, weekly check ins are essential for you to stay on track. And I ask that you complete yours by Monday at, well, before the end of Monday. I know the reminder usually says 5 p.m. for most of you, but if you can have that done before Tuesday, that will be wonderful because that's when we get the check-ins done. Coach Aaron is reviewing check-ins for me and helping out with that portion, so just make sure you get those in, and we work those together. And also, anything that you did for yourself, no matter big or small, that is considered a win. Okay? So, also, consistently tracking your meals, getting 45 to 60 minutes of intentional movement daily, resistance training at least 3 to 5 times a week, unless your program states otherwise. Make sure you do that and make sure you are tracking everything that you are doing, because that's the only way that we know what's going on and what you're doing. We can't measure what's not tracked. So if you tell us you did something but we don't have the data, we don't have that to go off of. Also, make sure that you're staying hydrated and prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. That will help you make steady, sustainable progress. During the calls, if you are present, I ask that everyone has their camera on unless you're in a space where that's not possible for you or you're driving and listening in, because I love to see your beautiful faces. I love the engagement. It lets me know that you're here and you're present. And also, if you have questions during the call, just put those questions in the chat and we will address those questions during the Q&A, just that so that we can keep things streamlined unless I pause and ask for engagement. Also, please make sure to keep yourself muted to limit distractions, unless you have something that you want to ask. And there is like virtual hand raises and things like that that you can use so that I can acknowledge you, and also so that we don't have people like talking over each other as this call grows. Again, this will be every Tuesday at 10 a.m. I know a lot of you work, that's why I'm recording this call. But if you happen to have a Tuesday off, you can always come on and take part in the call, because it's always great live, because you can ask questions live and get your questions answered. And also be sure that you have your Zoom name updated so I can recognize who's on the call, so it's not saying iPhone user or whatever like that, especially if you need to be off the camera. So, I'm so glad that you carved time to be here. And if you're watching this back, I'm glad that you carved out time to watch this video back, because this hour is about you and your wellness. Whether you're here for weight loss, energy, mental clarity, or simply building healthier habits, you're in the right place. Okay? So for the newbies that we have, I know we have a few new clients. Just want to let you know I am a certified health, fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach. I'm also a military veteran, a nationally qualified wellness bodybuilding competitor, but most importantly, I'm here to help you thrive in your mind, body, and spirit. And our support coaches are Coach Aaron, Coach Shira, and I just introduced Coach Annette. Hopefully they'll be able to hop on so I can introduce them to you formally. kind of face to face, even though it's virtual. Just to tell you a little bit about Erin. She's Dr. Erin, but she prefers to be just called Coach Erin. And she's a super smart health and fitness expert who has over 20 years teaching others how to live healthier lives. She's also a certified personal trainer, a health coach, and nutrition specialist who's written articles for for big fitness websites. And she also help other coaches learn and grow. And she's all about using science and real life tools to help people feel their best in their mind, body, and everyday habits. With extensive experience in health and exercise science, Erin specializes in holistic, evidence-based approaches to her wellness, and her passion lies in empowering individuals to lead healthier, more vibrant lives through personalized coaching. Her philosophy centers on education, accountability, and sustainable behavior change, guiding clients to achieve long-term success in nutrition, fitness, and stress management, and overall well-being, which completely aligns with what we have here at Team Sassy Fitness. Coach Shira, she is also a health personal trainer, and she is a super enthusiastic person helping women with overall wellness. And then Coach Annette, who just recently joined the team, she is also a ball of energy, super enthusiastic. She's a certified personal trainer as well, and her focus is on women 40 and older, helping them have healthier lives, getting lean abs even in their late 40s, 50s, and overall well-being. So I'm excited for you guys to meet and connect with them, and we're excited to have them on our Team Sassy Fitness squad. So now that I got the housekeeping out of the way, we're going to dive into today's topic. So today's topic is why nutrition matters for your energy and your mental health. So let's start with why nutrition matters, especially for your energy and your mind. So food is fuel. Just like gas fuels a car, food fuels your body. If you put cheap or the wrong fuel in your tank, your car is going to struggle to run. And our bodies are the exact same way. If you fuel your body with mostly sugar, fast food, processed snacks, you will feel wired and then crash, moody or anxious, foggy, and have low energy. And we don't want that, do we? No, we do not. You'll also feel, actually, when you fuel your body with real food, and we'll get into what real food is in more detail, but when your body is fueled with fruit, vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein, you have steady energy, better mood and stability, improved sleep, less stress cravings, and better focus. So nutrition isn't only about weight, it's about how your brain works and how you feel daily. Okay? So, when you nourish your body consistently, your mind becomes more stable. Food literally plays a role in anxiety levels, hormonal balance, and emotional well-being. So with that, let's keep it super simple. I'm going to break down whole foods versus processed foods. All right? Now, whole foods are foods like fruits, veggies, beans, chicken, turkey, fish, brown rice, oats, nuts, and seeds. These foods come with fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants built in, so there's no extra chemicals needed. But processed foods, on the other hand, it's artificial fuel. Foods like chips, cookies, boxed meals, fast food, soda, sugary cereal, these are often loaded with sugar, sodium, and preservatives that spike your energy, then crash it. And that increases anxiety and fatigue. We don't want that. So here's a simple analogy. Whole foods are like a complete vitamin pack, okay? And processed foods are like toys that come with cheap batteries. They run for a moment and then they suddenly die. And you have to go get more batteries. Or even if you get more batteries, they don't come back to life because the cheap batteries ruin the toy, right? So think about that when you're eating certain foods. Now, with bread, how many ingredients do you think real bread should have? I'm so glad you asked. Real bread should have 5 ingredients or less. I often recommend Dave's Killer Bread because that's like the cleanest bread out there. It has very clean ingredients, everything you can read and understand. And if you have not already, you should have downloaded the Yuka app. I mentioned the Yuka app so many times, and I don't know if all of you use the Yuka app, but you need to, because the Yuka app will tell you what foods are good and what foods are not, and it'll also give you recommendations of what to get instead of maybe something that you typically would eat. It's going to tell you why it's not good, and 9 times out of 10, it has at the very top all of the additives, the dangerous additives that are in foods. Unfortunately, in America, I think we're the only country that does not ban certain foods because of the chemicals and additives that are in them. You go to other countries like China and other places, and some of the foods that we have here is banned over there because it's killing the body. So you use the Yuka app, you scan the labels. It'll if it's under 50% out of 100, I recommend not to buy it. And not only does it do it for your food, it also does it for your skincare products. So, because think about this, whatever you put in and on your body, in and on your body, is absorbed into your system. So even the products that you use, the skincare products that you use, the lotions, the soaps, the perfumes, um, the face washes, the makeup, all of those things have ingredients in them that can harm your body. So you can scan those with the Yuka app and it will tell you how good it is or not. I found out a lot of things that I was using was great because I'm very particular about ingredients and things like that. But I also found out some things that I thought was good for me skin wise, and I was like, oh, okay, let me swap that out. So it's very important to be intentional about everything that you put in and on your body. Okay? So here's a tip for y'all. Make sure, hold on, make sure that you are when you go food shopping, make sure you're shopping on the outer grocery aisles because everything on the outer grocery aisle is pretty much whole foods. You have your produce section that has all your vegetables, all of your fruit, your dairy, your cheese, your meats on the outer aisles. The inner aisles has the processed foods. So you want to get the majority of your stuff on the outer aisles. Okay? Also, you can swap chips for popcorn or nuts, soda for sparkling water, and also practice the 80-20 rule because progress is greater than perfection. Hey Janelle, thanks for coming on. Are you able to turn on your camera?
I'm headed to actually Disney. So,
No, you're fine. That's fine. You
yeah.
can listen in. You can listen in.
Okay.
I'm glad that you came. Thank you. If you have any questions, I know you're en route to your
Yeah.
destination, but if you have any questions, feel free to pause me. I know normally when there's more people in the class, I'll have
Uh-huh.
everyone put their questions in the chat, but but being that it's only two of you today. If you have something, just go ahead and chime in. It's fine with me.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
no worries. So now we're going to get into understanding macros. Um, Macros are the big nutrients that fuel your body daily. And we're going to break that down what those are. So macros are simply put protein, carbs, and fats. Every single food that you eat is comprised of protein, carbs, or fats. There's no getting around it. So, we're going to start with the most important macronutrient, which is protein. Protein is what I like to call the builder. Okay? And the reason I call it the builder is because it builds muscle, it builds the immune system, it builds your hair and your skin, and it helps with satiety. It helps keep you full. So think about it this way. Protein is the bricks that build your house. If you don't have bricks to build your house, it's going to fall. I know y'all heard about the story as a kid where one animal built their house of straw and one animal built their house of bricks. I think it was the Three Little Pigs. And the wolf came and huffed and puffed and blew the house down because it was made of straws, no foundation. He tried to blow down the house made of bricks. It ain't go nowhere because it had a strong foundation. Your body is the same way. Protein is the building block of your entire body. And unfortunately, a lot of women aren't aware of this and they are afraid of protein. I had someone even tell me that when they grew up, their mom told them that protein will make you gain weight. And I was like, she was like, my mom told me that protein makes you gain weight, so when I grew up, I avoided it. And I was like, that's unfortunate. I said, but the fortunate thing is, as you get older, you can learn and do your own research. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. Protein does not make you gain weight. Protein helps to build your body. The problem is a lot of times people use mostly processed proteins. So if you get majority of your protein from food, from whole food, and you maybe have one or two protein supplements a day, it's not going to make you gain weight. Plus, you have to be mindful of how your body responds to certain protein. Whey protein is protein with dairy. And then, of course, we know vegan protein is a plant-based protein, mostly made with pea protein. Okay? So there's that difference too. It's not going to make you gain weight. But if your body is sensitive to dairy and you're consuming whey protein that has dairy in it, you might get bloated, but that's not making you gain weight. Your stomach has a sensitivity to the dairy. So you just have to understand and learn that part. But protein is needed. Collagen, the things in the skincare products that makes your skin elasticity tight, makes you strong, helps your posture, that comes from protein. And a lot of women don't get enough of it. And I always say to aim for 1 pound per goal body weight. So if you currently weigh 180 pounds and your goal is to weigh 140, you need to be aiming for 140 grams of protein per day in order to get that nice lean toned body. My goal weight, even though I'm okay being around 138, 139, my goal weight is 135, just so I can have that wiggle room, because I don't focus really heavily on the weight on the scale. I focus on my clothes, how my pictures look, how my body feels. But I set my protein goal at 135, and I hit 135 grams of protein per day. And I'm a small person. So that's the difference, and that's why protein is so important. So protein examples are chicken, beans, eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and tuna. And also turkey. That's another one. Lean beef. Those are good sources of protein. Now we're going to get into the second important macronutrient, which is carbs. Carbs is for energy. It gives you it fuels your brain, it fuels your muscles, and it fuels your focus. Have you ever been on a diet where you couldn't have no carbs? Meaning you just ate meat and veggies. Side note, veggies is a carb. It's just a light carb, depending on which veggie you choose. So if you're just doing meat and asparagus, meat and green beans, meat and spinach, meat and broccoli, meat and Brussels sprouts, that's a very low amount of carbs. And if that's all you're eating, think about how foggy you are. Try to go do leg day at the gym with minimal carbs. You're going to burn out, because carbs is what gives you energy. So when I hear people saying, oh, I'm on a low carb diet, I think to myself, I mind my business, because if they don't ask me for my opinion, I don't give it. But in my mind, I'm thinking, that's not beneficial to you, sis. But what people don't understand is there are different types of carbs. There are good carbs and there are processed carbs. I don't call them bad carbs. Good carbs, processed carbs. Right? Good carbs are typically high in fiber. Things like oats, fruits, potatoes, brown rice, vegetables, green beans, all the things, carrots. Healthy carbs, whole food carbs, are typically high in fiber. But the processed carbs are carbs like cakes, cookies, pies, chips, French fries, all the processed stuff. Typically have minimal fiber, a lot of sugar, and those are the carbs that you should be limiting, not carbs as a whole. And again, you also have to pay attention to the carbs that benefit you, the foods that benefit you, and the foods that don't. If you are eating bread and you notice that, like, you change everything else, but you're still eating bread and you notice you're having a hard time losing weight, you might need to omit the bread and go to a high fiber wrap, or almond wrap, or something like that. So carbs are like the gas that you put in your car. If you don't put no gas in your car is going to put you down on the side of the road. That's the same thing for your body. You don't eat carbs, your body is going to put you down on the side of the road. And you don't want that. So now we're going to get into healthy fats. Now, fats is another thing that a lot of people are fearful of, unless they're doing keto. And a lot of people keto the wrong way and keto too long. But healthy fats are for your brain and your hormones. Women especially. If you eat too little fat, and I mean healthy fat, and I'll let you know what those are, you will lose your period. If you're in menopause, you will have issues there too. You need healthy fats in order for your hormones to function properly. So, low-fat diet, not helpful at all. Everything needs to be balanced across the board. You need a balanced amount of fat, a balanced amount of carbs, and if you are eating low carb, you need to increase your fat a little bit so that you can still get that energy and have, your brain functioning properly. So, healthy fats, now mind you, I said healthy fats, not processed fats. And we all know the foods that have processed fats in them. I just named them with the carbs. Normally, processed carbs have a high amount of fat in them. So, healthy fats support focus, emotional regulation, and hormone balance. If you are eating too low fat, that can mess with your mental health as well. You will be fuzzy, foggy, cranky, moody, all the things. So think about it this way. Healthy fats are like the phone case protecting your phone. If you drop your phone without a phone case, it's going to crack. That phone case is protecting your phone. So if your body is not getting healthy fats, it's going to break down. It's going to crack. So you need to be protecting your body as much as you protect your phone. So healthy fats are things like avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds, nut butter, like peanut butter, almond butter. That is not a protein source. It is a fat source. Rule of thumb that I like to give everybody. When you look on the label of the food that you're purchasing, and you should be doing that if you're intentional about what you're putting in your body. If you look on the back of the label and you look at the macros only, protein, carbs, fat, the number that is the highest is the source of that food you're eating. For example, if you look at a jar of peanut butter and you look at the protein, carbs, and the fat number is going to be higher than the protein number because that is a fat source. It has some protein, typically like 8 grams, but 9 times out of 10, there's 16 grams of fat in per serving, which is 2 tablespoons. I usually do half a serving. And I know this because I always look at the label. I study labels, so certain labels I know what the numbers are. So most peanut butter is anywhere between 8 to 10 grams of protein, even the high protein peanut butters. But the fat content is still higher, 16 to 20 grams of fat. That makes it a fat source. Same thing with carbs. If you grab a loaf of bread, the Dave's Killer bread, the carb number is going to be higher than all the other numbers. If you grab a pack of chicken, the protein number is going to be higher than all the other numbers. So when you buy something, if you are unsure of what source of macro you're getting mostly of, look at that label and look at the number that's the highest. The protein, the carb, or the fat. And you'll be like, okay, this is a fat source. If you're falling short on your fat and you need a little bit more, you know what to grab. Cheese is a fat. So think about those things. So when you think of having a balanced plate, your plate should have protein, fiber carbs, healthy fat, and veggies, which is also a fiber carb. So an example would be something like grilled chicken, rice, broccoli, cooked in olive oil. There you go. So now we're going to get into macros and how it ties into your mental health. So macros matter for your mind. I just talked about how if you have too little of something, it's going to mess with your moods and everything like that. So if you have low protein, that can spike anxiety and mood swings. If you have too much sugar, that can spike crashes and irritability. And if you have too low fat, that causes brain fog. So all of this starving yourself to lose weight is not beneficial at all. Your body will be tighter when you eat better and more balanced, and don't remove things that shouldn't be there. Thanks. Very good. Thank you so much. So, what are some kid-friendly protein ideas that you already use? Something that would be beneficial for kids. I'll answer that question. How about this?
I don't have kids, so I don't know.
Okay,
You
well,
say,
you don't babysit kids or
uh, no, I love kids, but I haven't
Okay,
I
that's
haven't
fine. That's
babysitted in a
fine.
while.
That's fine. That's fine. But what I will say is a good rule of thumb for whenever you do have kids or have nieces and nephews or whatever, good foods for them would be things like eggs, peanut butter, yogurt, tuna, beans, turkey wraps. I tell you, when I grew up, we didn't have a whole lot. So we had things like potted meat, Vienna sausages, which was absolutely disgusting to me. I want to gag every time I think
Yes,
about it.
I agree.
Yes, we had. That's the foods I grew up eating: Vienna sausage, potted meat with
Noodles
crackers, ramen noodles, um,
with hot dogs.
with hot. Oh, I hate hot dog. Oh my god, I hated all that stuff growing up, but I had to eat it. My mom didn't play that, so
Right, right.
and it was a lot of times I would gag or get sick because I was just like I don't like it. But I've always been a picky eater, so I think I was destined to be in this field because I didn't like that stuff. And I know now that that stuff is horrible for you. But I also understand that in that time, and then even some people who are struggling financially now, they just get what they can afford. But the real deal is those things might be inexpensive, but fruit is inexpensive. Fruit does not cost that much. But we would rather, it's easy because those are tasty. It was nasty to me, but it was tasty. And our parents, that's all they knew, right? So we're adults now. It's on us to learn better and provide better for our kids. So those are some good things. Kids love yogurt. My kids absolutely loved it. One of my kids was the oatmeal king, and the other one was the yogurt king. So I knew what to make both of them. And one of them loved cottage cheese with fruit. So, just introducing those things to them when you start them at a young age, it will be embedded in them. Because think about it like this: your kids, they mirror what you do, they create the habits that you have, and you're feeding them. I've had parents tell me things like, well, what if my kid only wants to eat McDonald's? And I said, who's the parent? Who's buying the McDonald's for them? Just because they want it, you don't have to buy it. And they want it because you've bought it before. But if you tell them we're not eating that anymore and don't buy it, they won't eat it. They don't have money to go to McDonald's. They don't have a car to drive to McDonald's. So who's in control here, you or the kid, right? Kids get exactly what we give them. And it's up to us to do better by them by giving them things that is going to benefit them. Fast food like McDonald's, Burger King, those are not places that you should be taking your kids to eat. If you're going to take them out for a burger, take them to Chili's or somewhere where they actually make the burgers. You know what I'm saying? And give it as a treat, not as a staple, if that makes sense. So the habits that we have are passed down to our kids. It breaks my heart when I see kids that are like very round because I know it's because of what their parents are feeding them. Because a kid is not going to just, oh, it's genetic. No, that is not genetic. They weren't born that way. It's the foods that we feed them. We feed them what we eat, and that's how they become that way. So we have to be mindful of what we are putting in our kids' bodies, but it starts with us first. So now we're going to get into sodium, which I like to call the silent stressor, and I'll explain why. So sodium is salt. Small amounts are necessary, but too much overwhelms your body. So things like the way that sodium in excess affects the body physically, you get headaches, you have water retention, bloating, all the things, and high blood pressure. How it affects you mentally, it gives you anxiety, it causes irritability, brain fog, and fatigue. So the daily sodium should be under 2,300 milligrams per day. Under 2,300 milligrams per day, which is under 140 milligrams. So anything under 140 milligrams on a label is considered low sodium. Anything over 400 is considered high sodium. So those packaged meals, that say 1,000 sodium, or that's too, you should not even be putting that in your basket. So many of us will go in the freezer aisle and be like, ooh, lean cuisine. Look at how much sodium is on lean cuisine. Put it back in the freezer. Because they have to put high amounts of sodium to preserve some of these foods, right? So here are some sneaky sodium sources: breads, sauces, condiments, Lunchables, ramen. Ramen used to always make my stomach upset when I was a kid, and I didn't understand why. But that's what my mom gave me to eat. And deli meats. So if you get like a turkey, a deli turkey, I always recommend to get it from the actual deli, like at Publix or something where they slice it. Excuse me. It's still processed, but it's not the same as the processed deli meat that's in the packages. A lot of that has a lot of high sodium, and if you are going to get it from there, read how much sodium is in that before you purchase it. And I do want to offer some healthy flavor swaps because you don't have to sacrifice flavor. My food is very flavorful. I don't eat no bland food, but I also don't stuff up on a lot of salt, and you don't need a lot of salt if you use things like Mrs. Dash, Tabitha Brown. I love Tabitha Brown seasonings. They're so good. Garlic, paprika, rosemary, lemon, parsley. It's a lot of other herbs that will make your food taste so good. So good. And I'm not talking about table salt either. Like, table salt is not going to give you the amount of salt as a packaged item does with so much sodium in it. Even the seasonings that I buy are very low in sodium, like 60 milligrams or something.
I agree. So Chiquita, like I have to be careful with the sodium because it bloats me. So I definitely look at the nutritional facts and like it was so funny. I went to the store one day with one of my friends and like she picked up something and I looked at the label. She was like, I was like, girl, this is 500 and so milligrams of sodium. She was like,
Like, girl, you need to
that's
put
not
that
bad.
down.
I was like, that's not bad. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, it is. And you wonder why your stomach is not, when you wake up in the morning, it doesn't, it's not flat because it's always
Right.
bloated. You're probably
Right.
consuming so much sodium and then you're not drinking enough water so that it can flush. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you told your friend that, and that's a good rule of thumb because, you know, oftentimes we'll go. I try to mind my business, but sometimes it's hard because I try not to be that person, but I am that person. Like, if you my friend or you my family member and I love you, and I see, I'm gonna
Right.
be like, you might not want to get that, sis.
Right.
Like,
Because one
this is
thing that I
still
do notice with like with nutritional fact, when like the label says, oh, low fat or low sugar, they substitute it with the amount of like sodium. Am I
right.
correct? Is that something that they do?
Yes, and
Okay.
they also you have to be careful with sugar alcohols as well, and
Yeah.
the erythritol, and it's
All the
another.
talls,
Yes,
sorbitol.
all the talls. And that's why I recommend the Yuka app so heavily because when you scan that stuff, you might not know what that stuff is when you're reading it, but you scan
Yeah,
the
thank you
app.
for that because I've been using that faithfully.
Yeah, me too, even on skin products. Like I
Yeah,
said earlier, you weren't here when I was talking about it, but what you put in and on your body is absorbed into the body. So you want to be
yeah.
mindful of your skincare products too, your soaps, your lotions, your
Hmm.
body sprays, your facial cleansers, your makeup.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
want to be mindful of all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. So, um, what's a salty food you eat often, and what's one swap you think you could try? But you said you try to watch your sodium, so that's probably not your struggle, right?
My struggle is the
The
breads and the
sweet,
cakes. Yeah.
the cakes. So you struggle with the processed carbs and fats then. But
Yeah,
you figured out a swap,
I
right?
did. Yes, I
Tell
did.
everybody what your swap was. Share with the team.
So, so if I have like a sugar crave, well, my two top, what I make is I actually like have dates, which like is a
Mm-hmm.
natural sugar, uh,
Mm-hmm.
pitted dates, and I would cut them in half, and I would put organic um, peanut butter and walnuts or any type of nut spread on it with dark cacao, 100% cacao, um, chocolate, dark chocolate on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would freeze it, and that would be my sweet. And then I would create like a protein Biscoff cheesecake.
I know that's right. You got to tell us
That's
about that protein cheesecake,
yeah,
cause girl, you've been living it
yeah.
up on that. But yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I would use Greek yogurt, non-fat Greek yogurt, which is like 16 grams of protein. And I would mix that in with like zero sugar. It's like the powdered protein, the cheesecake mix. Mix
Mm-hmm.
that with low sugar whipped cream, which is a little bit of it. And I would take like the Biscoff, one or two of the Biscoff cookies, and I would crumple it up to make like a cheesecake. And then yeah, it's a small portion, but
See?
it does satisfy my sweet tooth.
And it's high in protein because you
Correct.
have the Greek yogurt and all the
Right.
things. So I'm proud of you for that. And those
Thank
are
you.
really good healthy swaps. If you
Yeah.
have a sweet tooth, you can satisfy that sweet tooth without sabotaging your goals and
Yeah.
sabotaging your health.
And I have one more other thing, Keita, because I do have to leave now. I
Okay.
have a testimony just to let you know. So remember I was telling you my issue with my knee and wearing the knee brace and everything. So I did the glutes and core workout yesterday, and it was the
Uh-huh.
first day that I did not use my knee brace without any problems of doing a full-fledged Bulgarian split squat.
Go
So yeah.
ahead, knee improvement.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I feel no pain or anything at all. Neither today, nothing. So
Yes.
whatever's working, we working and it's doing great.
Girl, those are type of wins I like to hear. I always ask my
Yeah,
kids at the beginning of the call, so I'm glad you shared yours. And
yes.
that makes me ecstatic. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep
Thank
showing up
you.
for yourself. Keep following the plan. And like I said, they're gonna be sick of you, girl.
They're gonna be sick of me.
They gonna be sick of you.
Right.
Well,
Thank
you
you,
have a great day
Chiquita.
at work, and thank you for hopping on. I appreciate that. And
Yes,
and
you have
it
a
is
great day.
recorded, so you can watch it back the full thing when you have time.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. You have a
You
blessed one.
you too.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye. All right, so now we're gonna get into family friendly meal habits. So you want to make sure that your plate is half of your plate is filled with veggies. You want to have protein at every meal. And I'm not saying you got to eat chicken every time you have, that's not the only source of protein. I named a lot of different sources of protein. So you want to have protein at every meal. You want to have water before juice, more water than juice. You can have your kids help you cook if you have kids. If you have teenagers, my teenager loves to come in the kitchen and be like, "Oh, mom, that's how you make that," and he loves it. And you just never know what they're willing to try if they pitch in. And slow down when you eat. I know y'all hungry. And half the time you super hungry because you waited too long to eat. Remember, your eating window should be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, not exceeding 4 hours. Okay? Do not exceed 4 hours. Every 2 to 3 hours, not to exceed 4 hours. So if you're going longer than 4 hours without eating, that's why you stuffing your face. Slow down. Pay attention to your eating windows. Pay attention to your meal timing. Set alarms if you need to. This is important. It shouldn't feel like this, oh, this is, I don't want to do all that. You don't want to do all that for you? You don't want to do all that for your health? You don't want to do all that so you can live longer? I'm confused. So let's make sure that we are being mindful when we are eating. If you eat slower, you create hunger awareness. And link your boundaries to mindful eating. So now, um, I want to get into our homework assignment that I always give on every call. And I want you to think about one small change that you can commit to starting this week based on what you learned in this coaching segment. Oh, and I meant to say this earlier that these group coaching calls are taking the place of the habit coaching sessions one on one that we've been doing. The one on one habit sessions will only be on a as need basis or a request basis. If you feel like there's something you need to communicate with me about and you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. Or if I see that we need to discuss something, or I feel like you're struggling with something and I feel like you would benefit from that one-on-one session, then we'll do that. But this is taking place of the habit coaching sessions that we were doing, and we will be doing this every single week. So hop on when you can and watch it back and learn from it. So your homework for this week is to make one whole food swap today. Not tomorrow, today. One whole food swap. Find something that you may have as a processed food and swap it for something as a whole food. Number 2, one balanced meal tomorrow. Create one balanced meal tomorrow based off of what information I provided earlier in this coaching call. And none of you should be drinking soda. So let's try to drink more water. No, I'm going to take that out. I'm not saying try. Let's drink more water. Let's be intentional about drinking more water and be mindful of the timing. You don't want to drink too close to bed so you don't interrupt your sleep. And you don't want to try to stuff it all in one sitting because that's going to make you sick. You have to spread things out throughout the day. You also don't want to do that with your protein. You don't want to stuff it all in one meal. You want to spread it out throughout the day. It makes it easier to consume, easier for your body to break down, less stress on your body. Spread it out throughout the day. There's no need to have 50, 60 grams of protein in one meal. You want to have 25 to 30, 40 max. But spread it throughout the day. And if you do this consistently, you'll start to notice that your energy is increasing, your stress is decreasing, and your overall mood is improving. So that's it for today's session. I appreciate you all for being here today and engaging with this important topic. Remember, small daily habits done consistently are what change your mind and your body. Healthy nutrition isn't about perfection. It's about progress. I'm going to say that again. Energy and nutrition isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Feel your body better, your mind performs better, and your life feels easier. It might feel difficult in the moment, but it pays off in the long run. Think about it this way. Choose your hard. Would you rather your hard be being sick, having all these health issues, and in the hospital fighting for your life? Or would you rather your hard be fighting for your health every single day with healthy habits so you can live longer and feel better and have more energy? I think I would prefer the latter, and I hope you do too. Remember, the habits that we create, it builds our future. So if you had really, really bad habits in your early 20s, teenage years, and you still are doing it, it's going to catch up to you when you get into your 50s and 60s. But if you start today with being intentional about what you do, putting your body on your body, it will pay off in your latter years. All right? So just remember, if you practice these strategies consistently, you'll feel more in control of your life. You'll feel more energized and better equipped to handle stress. So I am proud of each and every one of you for taking this step towards mastering your health, your nutrition, and your mental health. Just by being a part of this program, you said yes to you. And I can't wait to hear your wins next week. We will be back next week same time, same channel. And we will be discussing how to navigate post Thanksgiving and pre Christmas holiday season. We just finished Thanksgiving. We're heading into Christmas season, and I want to set you guys up for success during this holiday time. So, have a marvelous, marvelous rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see y'all next week. Until next time, Chiquita Nicole's Sassy Fit is out. Ta-ta for now.